We're going to talk about the law of the inner circle. Something I want y'all to think about is who are your closest people around you on your journey? Who are the closest people on your team that are taking this journey with you? Think about that for a minute. And we all want to be leaders. Our leadership potential is determined by those that are closest to us. Think back to what your parents used to say about your friends in high school, and you are who you surround yourself with. And parents were always worried about, oh my gosh, they're hanging out with the wrong crowd. Who we surround ourselves with determine really who we become and how successful we are. And it's the same concept with our teams and with our networking business. We need to have people around us, a team around us on our journey. I like to think of a networking and any sort of business as a team effort. Look at people that are successful, Steve Jobs, John Maxwell. They do not do it all by themselves. They do not go it alone. They have people around them who are high performers, who extend their influence and who help them grow. So, because without a good team, we can't perform. Our potential is determined by those closest to us. So, but to practice this law, the law of the inner circle, which is what we're studying out of John Maxwell's 21 Laws of Leadership, we have to be intentional. We have to think not only of our success, but of the success of people on our team. We've got to think about other people, and we've got to be intentional about who we decide and who we want in that inner circle. And it may seem a little selfish, it may seem a little manipulative, but in order to be successful, and that's not to say we can't have friends that maybe are not along the same lines of our beliefs or our values, but more than likely they are. We surround ourselves with those sort of people that are just like us, and it's comfortable, right? It's easy. It's comfortable to surround ourselves with people that are just like us. But for our networking business and for our businesses in general, we have to be intentional, and we have to think about the people that we are surrounding ourselves with, because that's how we're going to be successful. So basically, if we can answer yes to these following questions, then they are candidates for our inner circle. Does the person have a high level of influence with others? Our key to successful leadership is the ability to influence people and to influence others. So how do we do that? We draw people that have a high level of influence into our inner circle. And this works really well, especially going into a new situation, a new environment, a new place. If there is a person in the audience, a person on the team that has a very high level of influence that people listen to, you may want to consider bringing them in and getting their buy-in, bringing them into your inner circle. Another thing to ask is, do they bring a complementary gift to the table? There's many things that we have natural abilities with and we have gifts with, but then there are many things that, I know that I'm not the best at. I'm learning and I'm hoping to get there, but I'm not great at. So where is my weakness? What is your weakness? Bring people that have strengths in our weaknesses in our inner circle. It's great to complement each other. Another one is, do they hold a strategic position in your organization? And that can be just because of their rank, their title, their position. Are they a decision maker? Do they have the power to make decisions? Do they have just the position within your company that warrants the respect of people? And can they help equip you in your leadership? Do they add value to me and to the organization? People in our inner circle should have proven track records as assets to our organization. They should add value to us personally. And that's not being selfish, but that is basically, if they have a negative effect, it's really going to hinder the success of us to lead well. And that can hurt our organization. I've heard people say it's lonely at the top. It's lonely being where we are. But Honestly, yes, leaders carry heavy loads. We carry burdens. Leaders, Steve Jobs had to be carrying huge burdens and stress because of his leadership and where he was. But the way that I look at it is, okay, so it's lonely. If they say it's lonely at the top, I want to take a whole slew of people with me and let's get to the top together. Because I don't believe that you're an effective leader if you feel like you've done it all by yourself and you have no one there to support you. Another question to ask is, does the person that you're looking at as a candidate for your inner circle, do they positively impact other people within your inner circle? I mean, obviously we want people to fit together and to work with one another well. So we want our inner circle members to make one another better and to raise each other's game, to hold each other accountable, and to be able to encourage, to be accountable, to love on each other, and to help each other grow. So the one thing that we need to ask ourselves before we ask somebody into our inner circle, because this is a very, very important question. And if you answer no, that means that they should probably not be in your inner circle. And the question is, does the person display excellence, maturity, and good character in everything that they do? Now, a lot of times we don't know people very well, so we're not 100% sure of that. And sometimes we might need to develop people before they're ready to take place in that inner circle. So Ned Barnholt, who is CEO of Chairman, I guess it's Agilent Technologies. This is out of John Maxwell's book. He believes that there are three kinds of people in an organization when it comes to leadership. First, those who get it almost immediately, and they're off and running with it. Two, those who are skeptical and not sure what to do with it. And three, another third who start out negative and hope it will go away. He says he used to spend a lot of time with those that were negative, trying to convince them to change. But I think it's so important to spend your time with your best assets, with your positive. Because every person in our inner circle has to be, it's a high performer. They extend our influence and they help us grow. So I love the way that John Maxwell describes this for our teams. And I think this is great when we have a large team, dividing them into into thirds. And this might sound harsh, but it's just the reality. Divide them into thirds. The bottom third, the negative naysayers, the ones that don't want to work, aren't basically coachable, trainable, teachable. We basically dismiss those just right off the bat. And then we begin working on the middle and the top third. And that helps our teams to grow, is by working on those top thirds, helping them grow, leading them up, finding those who we can bring into our inner circle. So, success comes not from what we know, but from who we know and how we present ourselves to each of these people. If you want to increase your capacity and maximize your potential as a leader, your first step is always to become the best leader you can. And then the next step is to surround yourself with others and other great leaders that you can. And that is how you will be successful.